Hi everyone, welcome to DOdaily Monday Motivation. It's Des here, live today. Thought I'd pop on and say a few words. A few reasons for that, to be honest. Struggling a little bit for time, but as you will see, sometimes I feel compelled to come on and say what I think straight from the heart and as it is. Of course, that's what DOdaily is all about. It's just an honest, relatable, realistic take, my vlog on everyday life and how I deal with different things that occur along the way. Monday, of course, I look to inspire and motivate people to give it a real go, to enjoy the week the best they can. Perhaps take a look back at last week, see where it worked, where it didn't, and to give it your best shot. That's all we can do, isn't it? It's not going to be perfect for everybody, but we can try and do things the best we can to make it a good one. For me, the weekend was absolutely brilliant. It was my birthday on Friday, lots of great celebrations, spent time with friends, family, and the people who I enjoy spending time with, doing all the things I love. And that's really important all the time. It's what I speak about and DOdaily, being positive and enthusiastic. But today, I think it's particularly important with what I've got to say. But I'll come back to that shortly. What I will say before we go any further, if you do enjoy today's episode, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. A bit of housekeeping there to get out of the way. But of course, that will help me try and build and help me personally with my confidence and getting on and doing these things and trying to develop the channel. All, like I said before, all I'm trying to do is offer a realistic view, my personal vlog of how to deal with things. Today is actually the start of Mental Health Awareness Week, and anybody who watches DOdaily will know we've got a couple of real sort of subjects that I like to sort of put across. Not all the time, I don't like to preach, but mental health is one of them. Of course, I like to encourage activity, especially on a Monday. I use my daily motivations loosely based around activity and those who are keen to do exercise, reap the benefits that way. But also I see myself in a small way as a mental health advocate, somebody who considers the situation, somebody who's lived the experience of not feeling great and kind of come from a position that's made me want to do this, made me want to talk about the way I'm feeling and experiences I've had in the past. So with it being the start of Mental Health Week, like I said at the start, I feel compelled to discuss it today. It's not something I do all the time, particularly on a Monday, because like I said, I like to use that activity. I always talk about never miss a Monday. I was out a little earlier, walking around the river. I was actually trying to film the episode, but I just couldn't get my thought processes right. And whilst it's not exactly, it's not scripted, it's everything that comes off my head. What I wanted to get out just wasn't working. Few interruptions here and there. So I thought with the complexity and the seriousness, I guess today, seriousness in a light-hearted way. You'll understand what I've got to say. I thought it'd be important to sit down and try and articulate it that little bit better. Of course, what I always do at the start of the week is mention how it's going. I mention those birthday celebrations. They've kept me in great spirits, but it feels like another epic weekend. Today, I've just took the pace off a little bit, took a little bit of time back for myself, done one or two jobs I needed to do, tied up a few loose ends. It was important for me to do them before anxiety started building on the fact I'd not done them. So it would have been easy to take a complete rest, but I haven't. And doing what I needed to do has put me in good stead. Like I said, been out for that walk. That's got the endorphins flowing and told me I've at least done something today. I've at least got some activity in, which I'm looking to build on, of course, with Tuesday training and Wednesday workout as the week develops. What I did do, and I'll post it up now actually, that throwback question from Thursday, the last time I was live, the question and answers was, what's your birthday tradition? I was talking rather bizarrely about having a mixed grill, which started off the weekend. If you've got any sort of responses to that, And the reason I said it was important was just to do the things we enjoy and get yourself into that spirit. If you've got any questions for this Thursday or anything to say today, which you don't want to put in the comments, please comment if you feel you'd like to. But if you've got any questions or would like to answer that throwback so I can interact and use it on Thursday, please email des@dorunning.org.uk. And it's important for me to put that out there as well, and that'll become clear too. So getting to the crux of it today, I'm in great spirits. I'm feeling really good. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned on DOdaily, I wasn't feeling as good. You know, something happened where it just threw me off track a little bit. Kind of sent me into a bit of a tizzy about what was happening. I was looking to rely on all the things I always talk about, the running, the motivation, doing DOdaily, all the things that get me out of the slump, but it just wasn't quite happening. Only for a couple of days. I really dug deep and got into things, and it turned itself around and quickly, like sometimes it can quickly. But for that period of time, I actually felt a little bit lost with myself. And the big focus from the Mental Health Foundation on this Mental Health Awareness Week is loneliness. People suffering, sometimes in silence, a lot of the time when they're feeling lonely, of course, and how it really does impact on mental health. And I firmly believe the reason I want to talk about it today is because it really does. It was at a point where I found myself not exactly alone, but I lived alone. You know, I'd come out of a long-term relationship where it felt like I couldn't rely on the people that I always had. I probably could. The reality is that they were still there. But the more time you spend alone, sometimes it gets difficult to reach out and say the right thing and encourage people to sort of get involved in your life. And I found myself just over a period of a couple of months kind of really getting quite distant. What we tend to do in those situations is think too much, you know, really sort of overthink things, and we've got plenty of time. I think that's why we do it as much as anything. You know, when we're alone and alone with our thoughts, as much as I use it these days on a Friday, you know, I always talk about the importance of taking that little bit of time out. I do it to process my thoughts, to sort of work out where I'm at and what I'm doing. And that's important for me. I do it again on a Monday with a walk. And all the time I'm doing DOdaily. But I'm quite lucky these days that I've got lots of good people around me. Of course, I started a running club on the back of my own personal journey of putting myself right. And that's put lots and lots of, it's given me lots of new friends, lots of people who share the same thing. And of course, I bumped into Kay. And this year, we're going to get married. And I'm almost living my best life these days, you know, really sort of pleased and content. I've got no sort of qualms about saying that, and the fact I feel absolutely fantastic. But sort of going back to that point, you know, it was really difficult for me to sort of cope. I've spent all my life around football teams, friends that go to football, you know, and family that obviously care about me, but one or two things happened that I wasn't comfortable with. I spoke about these a lot on DOdaily. I'm not going to go too much into them because it's not really about that. It's about loneliness today. But one or two things happened which sort of sent me off track a little bit, you know, and then you spend your time on your own overthinking, you make bad decisions, and it all, you seem to ruin some of the relationships you've got. I remember feeling at one point that people didn't react very well to me, and it felt like it was all their fault, you know. But the reality was I was probably overthinking and questioning too much in my mind, you know, thinking, have I got this agenda or have they got that agenda? So what I'm trying to get to almost in this conversation today is just kind of remembering the fact that we've got to reach out, you know, whether you are struggling a little bit right now, or whether you feel somebody out there, you know, one of your friends, one of your family, just might feel that little bit lonely. It comes in all shapes and sizes, just like most things. You know, it's not just somebody who sits in a room all day shaking. You know, that's the stereotypical sort of situation. But even people with lots of people around them struggle sometimes. I've just admitted there, just 3 weeks ago, you know, with everything being amazing around me, I just felt a little bit sort of lost in my own world. Thankfully, I dug deep. I got good people around me. All those people I mentioned, Kay and friends asking me if I'm okay, wanting to understand. But there was a point when I never had that, and I really, really struggled. And I've never really admitted this as deep as I've got on DOdaily. But there was a point where, and I would have been ashamed at the time to admit this, but as time goes on, as I talk about these things more, as I want to say the right things to encourage people to find help, I actually considered calling the Samaritans because I didn't know how to deal with certain situations, sort of living on my own and what I needed to do for the best. And that kind of scared me into a little bit of action. At that point, I found some inner strength to think, whoa, what can I do? It was at that point I actually found a pair of old running trainers, which I didn't really use for running, stuck them on and went for a run, and everything kind of happened from there. But the important thing in all that is I actually took some action, but I've said running was the best decision I've ever made. I've said that numerous times. And even for non-runners, what I'm trying to get across here is it led me to other people and to do other things. It gave me another interest. With friends and family, you don't see them every day. They live their own life, rightly so. They can't spend their life looking after everybody. They can be there for you, and perhaps at times I felt they could have been there a little bit more. And then I had the football where it was every Saturday or twice a week max, and you go from one situation to another, spending a lot of time on your own. I was going to work and going home, and you spend the evenings. And like I say, mulling over all those things and overthinking things. If someone had said something to you, I kind of understand it now, and I've understood it for a long time. And I think this is potentially what helped me. A long, long time ago, I worked in the security industry with security guards who used to work on their own through the night. And they used to make some really crazy decisions. They used to do some things and you'd ask them why they'd done it. And they'd be like, well, because I thought it was for the best. And this is what I'm saying. When you spend a lot of time on your own overthinking, I didn't get that until I actually had to cover a site. And I went home, and my partner at the time, I was just coming up with all these crazy ideas and talking rubbish until I went to sleep, and then actually woke up and thought, wow, but I was lucky. I didn't have to go through that situation night on night on night. And it kind of made me realize that you need people around you. You need this sort of support network. You need it as a support network, but friends, family, people. At the point where I was talking about Samaritans, I actually also texted a friend and said, this is how bad the situation is. And thankfully, from that point, everything just got that little bit better. I started meeting new people through the running. It wasn't a comfortable situation for me to put myself in. Never been naturally fit. I was trying to lose a bit of weight at the time to help sort of not feel as bad as I was. And it wasn't a comfortable situation. Meeting new people is not always easy. But ultimately, when you've got the same sort of passions and the same thing and the same goals, we all end up kind of attracting towards each other. And I think it's just important to speak a bit about loneliness today and how we can help each other that little bit more. I've done it before on Mental Health Week, just sending a text message, just checking in. I touched on the fact there that sometimes even the most popular people, I'm lucky I've got all those. And I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I kind of got lost for just a couple of days. I know Kay was worried about me. She was asking if I was okay. But even the most popular sometimes who seem to be really out there, can just get a little bit sort of bogged down when the nice stuff isn't happening. I know it happens. I've got friends around me, and I feel I really try to make an effort with those. I don't need to sort of mention any names. And I mentioned the email address there, and I've left it up there purposely all the way through today because I've touched on in the last few weeks, I've had some really nice emails through DOdaily, really sort of touching and appreciative, which is amazing for me. But some of the things I've been told have been absolutely sort of astounding, that people feel that they can talk to me in this way. I had one just today where someone, I'm not going to mention no names, of course, because I wouldn't do that, but somebody emailed me and said that they felt like a mate that they've never met, and that's really touched me. You know, they've told me their backstory a little bit, and I'm going to reply to that sort of as and when I can. But that really sort of touched me in the fact that somebody is getting something from it. So when I'm feeling alone, I know that if I'm doing DOdaily, if I'm doing what I can, you know, at least somebody's taking from it. But they feel like they're taking something from me as well. You know, I couldn't believe that. I mentioned it to Kay and just said, "Wow, you know, this is amazing. This is exactly what I want to achieve, what I want to do, what I want people to sort of see me for what I'm trying to support here." You know, it's not about ego. It's not about trying to get millions and millions of subscribers. Of course, that's part of what I do, and I've encouraged it, and I'm trying to build something. I just want more people to get involved, you know, and if we can sort of pass on this message, share this message, you know, share the things we do. I've spoken a lot recently about being around football and other YouTube channels around football, but it's kind of brought a bit of a football family together, and I'm getting a lot of support from that, you know. And again, it's making me feel like I'm part of something. I've been going to football for a long time. I've used it over the years to make me feel better. You know, sometimes it makes me feel sad, of course, because it don't go to plan. But I've used it this year to feel absolutely fantastic. On top of my running clubs, which I enjoy, on top of the fact I'm getting married to the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. You know, I've got this other thing alongside my joint passion. It's easy sometimes to sort of get bogged down with what you do and get tied up in it. I was having this conversation just tonight as well. You know, you just sort of, and I'm guilty of it sometimes. You really sort of focus on what's next and where you're at and how you want to make things better for everybody else. Spoke a lot last week about paying it forward. Check out last Wednesday's episode. But you've also got to kind of look after yourself, you know, make sure you're doing the right things, make sure you're enjoying what you do. You know, it's easy. Sometimes it can become a labour of love and you just want to keep doing things and keep making it better for yourself and everyone around you without actually taking the enjoyment from it. Started the episode by saying, spent the weekend with friends doing all the things I enjoy. That was absolutely fantastic. You know, that made me feel like I was winning. I was winning at life, you know, and on a week like this, where, of course, I always say it's important to kind of evaluate how last week went anyway and use Monday as a new start if you have to. On Mental Health Awareness Week, I thought this was a really important conversation to have. And just for me to use some of my experiences. Don't get me wrong, I don't feel comfortable saying some of the things I've said, and there's been times in the past where I've said a lot more. But again, it's what I'm feeling. It's what's in my mind. It's what I feel compelled to do. So I hope you kind of understand that. I hope you sort of spare a thought at least for those that might be suffering. Like I say, it's not necessarily the person you've not seen for 6 months. It might be somebody who's outwardly sort of bubbly and bright and out there, but you know, deep down that they really need something. I've spoke about my sort of relationships around the running club, around the football, and I can see it. But again, it's about keeping them sort of a bit closer, isn't it? You know, keep checking in, keep asking the question. We can all do a little bit of something. You know, that email today has made me feel like DOdaily is part of something. This part of what I do is made it sort of. It's just had a massive impact, if I'm honest. You know, sometimes with DOdaily, I do feel like I'm on my own. You know, for all the support I get from Kay, for all the support I get from certain people, you know, it's sort of a one-way thing at times. You know, and if I feel like I've had a bad episode or I've not said the right thing, you know, I do beat myself up. I try not to, but it can feel like that. And again, it just in this sense, that person's helped me massively. So I really appreciate that. But there's the football family, like I say, there's the running clubs. When people sort of really embrace things, it's amazing. Getting to spend my birthday with people, you know, people I really care about and having a good time. It's brilliant. Having a good time is what it's all about. Sometimes we have to be serious. Sometimes Monday is really about sort of pressing on, sort of going again. I say that a lot. We go again. And there's a serious side to it. Whilst this has been a really serious sort of conversation today, and I want to make people aware of what the Mental Health Awareness Week's all about. I don't want to preach, and I don't think it has necessarily been serious. It's just a few examples and a few bits of sort of insight into how we can help and support others. So I urge anybody watching to reach out, if they need to. It just takes a text message. I've said it a million times before on DOdaily. Nobody ever says, go away. There is a stigma around it. Some people do sort of back off a little bit. But if you say, I don't feel great, or I could do with a coffee, most people are good, genuine, and want to help. And I think that's the really important thing. And from that, from the very first text message I sent saying, I'm not great, mate, things improved. From that conversation, I made a lot of my own decisions. I don't necessarily put it down to that one conversation, but they say, don't they, a problem shared is a problem halved. I don't think that's strictly true, because a problem shared is a start to sort of concluding the problem for me. It's not just halved. It starts to take the problem away, because that's where we build from. So it's all about communication. It's all about talking, and just being there for each other. And I really, really urge that, we have to look after ourselves. I spoke about that last week. We have to look after ourselves to be able to look after others. That's important. Still believe in the activity, the motivations I'm going to talk about all week. Give people the opportunity to ask questions on Thursday. It can be as deep rooted or as out there as you like. It could be about mental health, especially this week. I'd encourage that, of course. But it could be about football. It could be about running, current affairs, absolutely anything. Really, really would appreciate people to get involved. Share this episode, if you will, with anybody you think might be interested. And once again, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm just trying to spread the message about what I do and be positive and enthusiastic about it. If we can be that, we are giving ourselves half a chance, aren't we? So thanks for watching, guys. Really, really appreciate it. Some nice comments coming in. Really, really nice stuff. Glenn says here, glad you're feeling better this week. The second leg of the clock face walk looked lovely. Where does the next leg take you? So basically, that Glenn's relating to the Friday episode of DOdaily. I've been doing this new challenge. It was one of the things I used, actually. I'm glad Glenn's mentioned that. One of the things I used to get me out of that little rut a few weeks ago. I'd been planning this challenge for a while, and the running didn't work. So I thought, right, time to start this challenge, time to get going. It's a walk around Nottingham, 60 miles. Again, it's giving me that accountability to do something, to make sure I'm up and about on a Friday morning. I always am anyway, but it adds that extra purpose. And then I feel great that I've ticked off a few more miles. Finished in East Bridgeford last week. I think I head south towards Cotwell Bishop, a place I don't particularly know. So again, it's just finding new ways. Last year, the theme on Mental Health Week was nature. And that was partly why I took to the walking and got so much from it. That was great. So it helped me in that sense. And these little things, I'm saying it because I'm communicating it this way, it's helping me as well. Last year, it was the walking. This year, it's the loneliness thing. It's reminding me of a time when it's not good, which is not always great. But when you're on top form, it's good to know how far you've come and where you're sort of heading. So that's absolutely brilliant. Just a few sort of comments to sort of go through before we go. Kieran, he's daily. He's a fan of the channel. Thanks for that, Kieran. Mr. Dorr, hit the like button, people. Cheers, Dorr. Thanks for all the support. Patrick says, cheers, Des. Great stream. Keith says, enjoying your streams. Keep up the good work. Really appreciate these comments, guys. Again, I'm doing this purposely to get out of my comfort zone. It's a real struggle sometimes for me to do the live ones because I'm still trying to articulate it and get it all right. I think we've got James here who's saying, good evening to everyone. Evening, James. Hope you're well. It's going to be a big week. He's got his forest strip on there. Look, you know, we know it's going to be a big week. There's another comment. Aaron Needham. When's your next race? I think we've got one. I'll probably answer this again on Thursday. I'll use it as a question. But I've got a race in the middle of June, I think, Carsington Water Half Marathon. So, again, whilst it's not been working, and Monday is the time to evaluate and figure it all out and how we can go again. Do you know, it's another opportunity in terms of feeling great, but in terms of the activity and the running, managed to get out at the weekend, got my walking, of course, on Friday, got a park running. Looking to build on that and really sort of kick in this week. I had some real busy weeks where there's kind of been lots of events and functions and nice life occurrences to sort of do. But it's 5 months until I do the London Marathon and 4 months till I get married. So really looking to lose a bit of weight, get my activity, get fit again, you know, and I just keep talking about it and I've got to do it. You know, I don't always get it right and I suffer the knockbacks as well. But I can't imagine how good I feel if I'm feeling on top of that. You know, even when I was super fit 2, 3, 4 years ago, however long, whenever I was at my fittest, you know, I didn't have all these nice things around me. Now I've got all that to work from and be really positive. And that's kind of where I want to leave it today, guys. Like I say, I appreciate everyone that's got involved and sort of started supporting the channel and sending me emails. It's absolutely brilliant. Just one last comment there from James. Tell you what, Des, you've got more confidence than me coming live. And you're very well done, fella. Keep up the hard work and you're smashing it. Well, again, it's just the fact that I took that first decision to put myself out there, you know, to say it as it is, because I feel sometimes when people talk about mental health, they get a bit too technical and a bit too sort of try and bog people down with the science of it. And you need to do this. The last thing people want to hear is being told to do something. What I'm trying to do here is be the example. Do you know, it does make me feel uncomfortable. I am nervous. Do you know, somebody said to me last night that it's quite candid and brave, you know, and I suppose it is, but that's the way it is, you know. Like I said, at a time in the past, I'd been extremely embarrassed to say some of the things I've said tonight, but these days, you know, I understand it can help. I wish somebody had told me. So until Tuesday training, guys, where I'll definitely be looking to pick up that activity. Tend to do a coaching and an actual session myself on a Tuesday, but I'm looking to do both. So really sort of get back into it this week, start feeling good, get up early, you know, get those endorphins flowing, enjoy the day, enjoy everything that's coming and keep talking. That's what I'm going to do. That's the promise I've made myself in the last few years. Trying to build on a legacy where it didn't quite work for somebody who I thought a lot of. A friend took his own life. I've mentioned Al Jamie a lot, and it's important for me to keep this legacy going. So when you've got reason, when you've got passion for what you do, you know, it is that little bit easier, and it has to be done. It's as simple as that. Have a great evening, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. Hopefully you have a great week. Hopefully you can get involved in some Tuesday training, even if it's a walk around the block. Believe me, if it's the one thing you do tomorrow, get out for a walk. Until then, just doing it.